to do that, and the points that won it for Wakefield were points from a penalty that saw Maurice Blair go off sin bin. And whilst that seemed to inspire, from the reviews I've read, seemed to inspire Hull KR into life a little bit. Did you know Maurice Blair's nickname was Bobby as well? Where's that come from?
I don't know.
But anyway,
Bobby Blair, mate.
Surely it'd be like Lionel.
Like a left, Tony. Yeah, fair enough.
But so the stats were almost
Minor.
The stats were almost actually exclusively in favour of the home side.
Right.
They had 3 more breaks than Wakefield did. They scored 1 more try than Wakefield did. They made fewer errors. They gave away 5 fewer penalties. They had a better tackle success. Wakefield did have a marginally better average gain, but the big number was goalkeeping percent. 0% success for Hull KR, 100% success for Wakefield. So they scored more tries at Hull KR, but they weren't able to win the game.
Yep. So we also, who played individually, who stood out?
Ben Jones-Bishop had 133 metres, so he's starting to find his feet now at Wakefield after a couple of shaky performances. Anthony England as well, 133 metres. He's having a really good start to the season for Wakefield. So Anthony Tupu with 40 tackles had his first big impact, you'd say, for Wakefield. And Reece Lynn with 112 metres. He's had a couple of decent games as it goes too. Ken Seo got a try in 140 metres for Hull KR. Albert Kelly, 5 tackles on 118 metres, was effective. Graham Horn with a try assist and 43 tackles, did a bit both ways. Ben Cockayne with 108 metres as well, tagged on there.
Okay, Tyler Cass fan got in touch. He said, well done, Wakey. Turned out to be a great decision, taking the 2 points from a penalty early in the second half for a 6-point lead. KR missed their regular goal kicker, and this result will be hard to take. Brad Davies, very poor game with Robert Hicks involved in virtually every set of 6. Weather was typical for Hull 2. This Wakey team might not be very good or clever, but they've got some spirit and did hang on well for the win. So how does that leave things looking in the prediction and Super Brew Dream Team situation, Mark?
Well, with Wakey's away win, that meant we both only went 1 for 1 this week, although, like I said, my Salford score was bang on. We were 2 for 1 in the World Club Series games, but, that
doesn't count.
No, unfortunately.
Only in terms of the Super Brew thing, by the way. I'm not discounting the World Cup Series.
I'd rather have been 1 and 2 and us won it 3-0. Chris Macy, the Medway Bronco, he's hit the top of the Super Brew table after week 3. Tom, you're off the bottom after you
spotted it from the weekend. I didn't realise you were going to talk about it in these terms. No, that was what I was after this week.
You mean where it's in the rundown every week?
With a limited number of fixtures, I wanted to do well to get off the bottom, and I did that, so onwards and upwards.
Talking about onwards and upwards, Mark, myself, I've gone top of the Dream Team League after picking up over 400 points this week, thanks to clever use of my cheaper bench players,
but you'll pay
rotating in a couple of...
for that pots. No, maybe not.
No, I won't. No, I won't.
Because you'll be able to make further transfers in a few.
I'll definitely trade some of the Salford Widnes players out if their bubble was to burst, and certainly not play those players when it comes to round 11 real.
There you go, fair enough.
Giving away a few tips to people there, but I didn't spoil it for myself this week.
Look at you, all proud.
I was more than 100 points ahead of the next best, and I actually had the 2 best scores, but only because one of my teams just happens to be full of players that contributed. I didn't pick them.
Right.
I didn't. It's one of the teams I've just picked at the start and left.
Yeah.
But Anthony England was a big performer for me, and Reece Hambry was
fair
a big
enough.
performer for me. So.
Good stuff. Okay, so that's the Super League well and truly taken care of. Let's take a look now at some results from elsewhere in the world of rugby league. So it was round 3 of the championship this week, Mark, with a couple of surprise results and a couple of nearly surprise results. Bradford started the weekend away at Swinton and they won 48 points to 16, as you might expect against one of the sides that's been promoted, but I'm led to believe that Swinton played valiantly. Batley got a 28 points to 8 victory over the Sheffield Eagles in the Fowler household derby. So Fowler Senior, I think, is the happy one of those two.
No. Isn't it his missus who's the Batley fan?
Was it his missus? I thought it was his dad.
No, his dad's a Chef fan.
Oh, right. His missus is a Batley fan.
As far as I know.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
Right, okay, I could be wrong then. I thought you said his dad was a Batley fan.
No, I didn't. I never said that.
Why do I think his dad's a Batley fan?
Because you're a fucking idiot.
Right, moving on. But we were fortunate to get a tweet from DFS Ports 97. He said, meh, I'm the loser in the derby, there's always the next game. Lee with 24 points to 20 winners over London. London was something like 20 points to 4 or 20 points to 6 up at one point. So
certainly
let it go in the last.
Billing as the SLP Championship game of the week went right down to the wire. Really, what was it in the last? Was it?
Let it go in the last quarter, I think.
72, 73 minutes, I think it was, when Rangi Chase scored to tie the scores up, and that was probably just when the Broncos then. Couldn't see it home,
Yeah, Diane LBW got in touch on this one. She said, tough luck to London Broncos, a couple of missed conversions away from a draw and almost a win. Chris Macy got in touch. He said, genuinely gutted, we should have shut that game down. Still proud of the lads, as it shows we are moving in the right direction. Oldham got a big win over Dewsbury, 38 points to 16, so congratulations to the Rougheads on their first win of the season. Having been promoted, Diane LBW said, what a result for Oldham. A big well done for them in an impressive win. It was Halifax 20, Workington 0 up in Cumbria there, and Whitehaven versus Featherstone had been postponed, Mark.
Yeah, I don't know anything about. I assume just the weather.
Yeah, I would say so as well. Absolutely. First round of the iPro Sport Cup saw Barrow lose by 4 points to 14 at home to Rochdale. Coventry went down 24 points to 48 at home to the Gloucestershire All-Goals. Doncaster were 35 points to 28 winners over the North Wales Crusaders, and this was a game that you picked out as well, wasn't it, Mark, as the tie of the round?
And a high-scoring affair, really, and a drop goal having to seal the deal, I suppose. North Wales, the
reigning champs, that's it. So
big news.
Big news. And Dave Brown, our Dons fan, got in touch. So there was a very sloppy performance from the Dons yesterday against a well-coached North Wales team. Plenty of room for improvement. And Dual Reg got us through again with Kirk Ewan, Jordan Abdul and Palliasina turning out for us and being the difference makers.
I'm going to tell David, though, if he gets his messages in this late next week,
he's in trouble.
They're not going to get in. They only got in because I couldn't put a cut off, because basically I wasn't at home to turn the forms off when I normally do at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. So because of me being behind schedule because of the game...
Well, you can't tell the boy off, can you?
It was all behind schedule. I'm not telling him off. I'm giving him fair warning.
Fair warning. Yeah. Fair enough. All right. It was Hunslet 4, York 24. Have you seen the... In fact, you probably have done. It was London Scholars 44, South Wales 6. Newcastle 36 against Lee Miners, who got 12. And Oxford were 34 points to 12 winners over Hemel. And on behalf of Bruiser, fuck Hemel. Tim G Radio got in touch on that one. He said it was a great day for Oxford RL today. At Maids RFC, I guess that's Maidstone Rugby.
I can only assume.
It's a fair way away from Oxford, though, Maidstone. It's in Kent.
I don't know.
Please tell us where you were today on that one, Tim. They were brilliant hosts. Looking forward to another tough test next week. Really impressed with the application and commitment shown by the team today. Great blend of old and new players. And the final game of the season was a close affair up in Cumbria between Wath Brow Hornets and the Keighley Cougars, with the Cougars ultimately coming out on top by 10 points to 4.
Paul's going to get in touch about that, isn't he?
Why?
He said final game of the season.
Did I say final game of the season? Final game of the weekend.
There we go.
So there you go.
That's a close game, isn't it? I mean, big up the amateur side there, because Keighley are obviously one of the stronger sides in that division.
So they made them work for it.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to talk about, and because we didn't talk about the Challenge Cup draw, York Knights are hosting York Acorn.
And Rochdale are hosting Rochdale Mayfield.
Yes, that's fantastic, isn't it?
Two strangely
exciting derbies, Hot balls, would you suggest, or do you think it's just a coincidence?
Let's say coincidence. Absolutely. And leave it to everyone's imagination.
Because they're all listening to us at Red Hall, Mark, aren't they? Okay, so that's the world of rugby league well and truly covered. Let's look ahead now and bring you our previews and predictions for round 3 of Super League. Okay, so a couple of Thursday night games to kick off round 3 of Super League, Mark. The first of which sees Hull FC take on Cass over in Hull. Two sides that have got off to reasonable starts. Hull at top of the table. How do you see this one going?
Well, I'm going to go with Hull. I think home advantage, and they've obviously been playing a little bit better than Cass in the fact that they've won 2 games.
Yeah.
You just sort of feel like this could be a test for them. They've not been defending awesome, but they've come up against a couple of teams who've been just overawed by them so much
physically,
that they've not been able to get in the contest. I don't know if Castleford will fall for into that same hole that Salford and Catalan fell into, in particularly in the sort of middle half of the second and third quarters of the game. But I'd still think Hull FC will win. I've gone 24-16. What say you?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. A bit of a closer scoreline, but in fact, no, exactly. I've gone for the same. I've gone for Hull by 8. I think there's more points in this. I'm going to go 28 points to 20 in favour of FC. So the second game of Thursday night is a changed fixture because we now accommodate third-tier football teams in our competition, and Wigan Warriors will be playing Salford Red Devils. Mark,
well, let's address the fixture swap.
Okay.
First of all, because it be remiss of us not to comment on it from a Wigan fan perspective. It's personally for me, it makes no difference in terms of whether I can go to the game or not. No effect for me. If anything, it might please my missus a bit more because it probably gives her more of my time this weekend. But it's frustrating and a bit embarrassing that it comes to this point in the year. Now, Lenigan put his little public address party political broadcast together, and to be honest, without stating it too overtly, he was blaming the RFL. He said we flagged up 7 fixtures that we needed to be away from home on, or there was potential clashes for, etc.
Right.
And pretty much they've royally fucking screwed us over. They should have not put the Warrington game to be a TV game after Easter, because then we could have maybe moved the clashing game we have on Easter Monday, which is still a problem, against Hooker, out to the Tuesday, but we can't now because Sky want us up on the Friday, so unless they want to fuck us up royally, there's no chance of people playing that sort of turnaround for Wigan. And the other fixture they haven't accommodated is this fixture. From the club's perspective, really, they should have been telling fans sooner that this game may be subject to change. Specifically, I know they always say all games are subject to change, but this should have flagged out. We specifically know there's an issue with this fixture. And because of the pitch troubles we've had, I mean, the new pitch held up fairly well, didn't it, actually, on Saturday?
Very well, yeah.
It was surprising and probably helped a little bit for the Broncos than the mud bath we could have had them in. But no, it's really annoying, but the RFL haven't done us any favours either with it, really. And then they basically told us, you can go and play at Blackpool, because that's a fucking decent pitch to play on, is it?
No.
Or you can go and play at 2 stadiums that are already not available to be played at, was 2 of the things they suggested, and then they basically said, well, Widnes or lump it. So we've had to agree with Salford to move it to the Thursday. Salford have been accommodating in that fact, so I suppose Wigan should be grateful for that. And
actually Salford have got a day less to prepare, so they have been more than accommodating, haven't they?
Exactly, yeah.
So okay, but to the game itself then, honestly, I don't see this. I mean, look, Wigan are coming off the back of a heavy defeat, but I don't think you can necessarily use that as a kind of a massive indicator of how this game is going to go, because of Brisbane being such a good side, and Salford similarly winning against Widnes at home.
Do you not think the injuries have a big effect?
They might do, yeah, but I still fancy Wigan, not by as much as I would have done. I think there's going to be points. I think there's definitely going to be points in this one because of the injuries. It's going to leave things a little bit open. But I'm going to go for a Wigan win by 16, 36 points to 20 for me.
Right. Well, I don't think the winning margin will be that big, and if I'm honest, I'm not entirely overly confident about it going into it on the back of the sort of disruption to the side, and we're basically going to have to find an answer for Hooker. I don't know what that might be, whether it be O'Loughlin,
Powell.
Well, we need to find an answer in the halfback positions as well with Matty Smith out, you see.
Of course.
The second row will take care of itself, you would think.
Yeah.
Well, you would have done if we didn't have to answer the Hooker question. You would have just slipped Bateman into the second row, Lockers at loose forward, asked him to play longer minutes than he has been playing, and all sorted. We'll see how we go with that.
Are there any of the younger halves, like the younger halves, that could come in?
Well, I'm not sure where Shorrox is fitness-wise. And below that, there's no one ready. No one ready, I would say. There's obviously there's Waterworth, who's close to being ready to step in, but he can't play at Hooker, but he can't play long minutes, you wouldn't have thought. He's not played at adult grade before. So it's a big question mark, whereas Salford have been going really, really well. I think the key to take advantage of Salford is the interchange period, where they've been sort of trying a few little strange things, and maybe that's when Wigan's forwards, if we bring Tony Club into the game at that point or something, or Tautai actually has a committed game without any sort of brain farts, then that's where we could have some sort of impetus and push over an advantage in the back half of the first half. That's what I'm hoping will happen, and that's why I'm going 28 points to 20 in favour of Wigan.
Okay, fantastic. So the next game of the weekend sees Warrington take on Wakefield over at the Halliwell Jones. Cricket score, this for me, I've got Wire by 24. I just think at the moment they've started the season really well. The halves are clicking, the two experienced Aussie halves. Yes, Wakefield got a result over at Hull KR, but this is a different proposition, and I don't see them being able to emulate that against Warrington. I think the golfing class will